Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of AC Connect. We are having our movie premiere tonight. I have my popcorn ready for the movie, and we'll get into a little bit more details about that, but I'm so excited, and Leah is so excited to share with you some of the stuff that AC and AECEA has been working on. If you don't know, my name is Lisa, and I am one of the volunteer board members of AC, and my co-host tonight is Leah.
Hi everyone, I'm Leah and I am a member of the Alberta Early Learning Leaders Caucus. And yeah, we're so excited to premiere the videos. They've been in the works for quite some time, so it's really exciting to put them out here for everyone tonight. So yeah, we're very excited to get rolling. Just, I guess, a few things to note. We will be asking for feedback after we watch the videos. So again, you can use the question box, or you can put up your hand, and then if you'd like to share, we'll call on you. We will unmute you, but sometimes you'll also have to unmute yourself. So just so you know, we are also going to record the session to make it available to others. So just so that you are aware of that. And I think is there anything other little housekeeping things, Lisa? I think that's all.
I don't think so. I think you covered that.
All right, so we're gonna go. We have a few updates, AC and other updates. We'll do our video premieres. We'll ask for your feedback on the videos. We have a couple kind of specific questions about how you felt about the videos and how you might use the videos. And then we have door prizes for the first time ever, so that's very exciting. Yeah, so I think we'll take it away. Well, let Lisa take it away with AC updates and whatever else, what other news we have.
Okay, so as you can see, very exciting. Something that, yeah, I'm super excited to share with all of you is AC is in the process of revamping our website. And once we watch the videos, it'll become a little bit clearer about the different portals that you could go on our website. But essentially, we are going to be having new resources on the website. We're going to be having resources for educators. There'll be a specific site just for educators, whether you're members or non-members. There'll be a space in the site dedicated just to you. There'll be a site for parents, so you could direct your parents, your families, grandparents to this space on the site. There'll be information specifically for parents and guardians. And then there'll be a site for the public. So maybe, you know, in your advocacy work, your neighbors or other friends that you have that are wondering a little bit about why early learning and childcare is so important, there'll be some resources that the general public can access. And so we have so many great ideas that are in the works. We're hoping to launch most of them on November 20th. And for those of you who don't know, November 20th is National Child's Day. And so we'll officially launch the videos on the 20th. Everybody here tonight gets a bit of a sneak peek. And then there will be links in the videos, but those links won't be live till the 20th. So you've heard it here first. New videos coming out, new website coming out, but we won't be able to actually access it until the 20th. But we are very excited to hear your feedback, and to hopefully there's some good resources that are there for you. And you know what, if you don't find the resources that you're looking for, make sure you let us know, and then maybe that's something we can look at putting on the website, because we do want to make sure that the resources are very useful for everybody that's visiting the website. Now, before we hop on to the new act, I did have just a couple other ones, AC updates to talk to you about. So last month, AC had some strategy planning meetings, and these were very productive half-day meetings where the whole board gets together and we really look at AC's vision and mission, and where the work that and our mandate, and where the work that we're doing lies and the work we want to do lies. Really thinking about the educators in the province and how we can support everybody. We know this has been an extremely difficult, unprecedented time with COVID, on top of everything that's going on for us in the landscape. And so we really want to make sure that AC is supporting the educators in the province, and really from the bottom of our hearts want all educators, no matter what level you are, no matter where you're working, that we are extremely grateful for the hard work that you've done for the children and the families, because honestly, I think, without you, none of it's possible. So heartfelt thank you to everybody. Once we do finalize that strategic plan, we will be sharing it with our membership. We want membership to know what we've come up with and what some of our exciting goals are that we will be working on. The other thing that I wanted to share with you tonight is that some of the board members had a meeting with the ECD branch and the new deputy minister. So some of the political stuff is coming in and making sure that we are advocating for educators. The next piece that we're super excited to chat about is the new act. And so, Leah, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best when it comes to politics, and it can be really confusing for me sometimes. So I actually had to do a little bit of research before coming on here tonight and to figure out what on earth are the steps that the Child Care Licensing Act is going through, and what does it all mean? I've heard it's in second reading, but what does that actually mean? So I did find a little piece that I would just share with everybody tonight. I won't be able to tell you, I'm not sure what's going on specifically, what information is going to be in the regulations, that I don't know, but let's just chat a little bit about what does it mean and what's the process that the act has to go through to get passed. So I did find something on the University of Alberta library website, and I think that really does break it down quite nicely here. And I'm just going to pull it up so I don't make sure that I don't make any mistakes as I'm talking to you. So first of all, right now it's called a bill. So the bill has to follow a series of steps on the ways to becoming a new piece of legislation. So first of all, it's introduced in a first reading. So that's already happened. Next, it's debated and typically referred to a legislative committee on the second reading. So I believe that's where it's at right now. We have a really great advocate in Reggie Penacoli, and I'm not sure if you've seen some of her videos and some of the documents that she's tabled and looking at and really trying to advocate for those changes that she's hoping to see in the new childcare licensing. After that second reading, it returns for a final vote on the third reading. So at the provincial level, a bill that has passed third reading goes to Lieutenant Governor for royal assent. And then once the royal assent is given, the bill has become fully passed and it's now referred to as an act. So that's how we get the Child Care and Licensing Act. And Leah, that's something I didn't know before. So like I said, the University of Alberta website is where I found this information, just on the series of steps the bill needs to take to be put into legislation. So I don't know, hopefully that's helpful for some of you and just kind of trying to navigate the political landscape that we have and some of the stuff that's going on in the early learning and childcare world right now. But that's all the updates I have.
Yeah, just a couple more things that I wanted to say about the act, or the bill that's going up to be the act, is you can find it on the Alberta government website. I don't know where exactly right now, but you can find a copy of it to look at what, and I believe it's actually also on AECEA's website, sort of what the proposed act is. And then the second piece that will come is the regulations. So right now we know there's the act and then there's the regulations, and the regulations are sort of what licensing looks at when they're going into the program. So there is a little bit of wondering because the act gets passed first and then the regulations come. And the act has broader wording than the regulations. So it can be difficult to know exactly what's going to be in the regulations by reading the act, because the act isn't as specific. So that is sort of some of the pieces that AC and ALC are still trying to be involved in and have a voice in, is getting a little more clarity or clarifying things in the act to make it so that they have to be a specific way in the regulations, just to make sure that some of those pieces that we know are so important around education and quality and those pieces that like were put out earlier this year in the Getting It Right paper and lots of other things, that those most important pieces are actually going into the legislation. So we certainly have advocates on our side, and Rocky from the NDP is a really big one, and she's been quite vocal about sort of turning the gaze back to research that has been done and by people in the province, by groups like AC and ALC around what are things that are specific to creating an accessible, affordable, quality early learning and childcare system in Alberta. So we're hopeful that that kind of all comes to pass, as you know, as with as much of our recommendations in it as possible, but we'll see what happens. And so we're kind of in the wait and see mode as it goes through all of these readings, and then we'll probably be in wait and see mode a little bit more after that, looking at how that act actually translates into the regulations, which is then what we're going to have to put into practice sort of on the ground. So yeah, so I mean, it's there's big things happening. We just don't know exactly what direction they're going. So
it's a process, and thanks for explaining that a little bit more, Leah. And like you said, the AECEA website is a great place to stay updated, as well as a Facebook page, just if you're looking for links to documents and different news and stuff that, you know, as soon as we know, we can post it on there. And then as the slide is showing, if you would like to support the work that AECEA is doing, we cannot do it without membership. And so there are monthly options available. If you are interested in becoming a member, we would love to have you as part of an AECEA membership.
And I think, yeah, I think that's all our big updates. So here's a little plug for the various, you know, people and organizations involved in creating these videos. So like we said earlier, these have been in the works for quite a long time. And so a lot of people, particularly involved in AECEA and the Leaders Caucus, you know, came up with the ideas and scripts and worked with the people at Cineflare, who were the video production team, to really refine the message and decide what exactly was going to be in it. And I didn't list the places where they took the videos. Darn, I forgot that. But there was a grant from the Alberta Ministry of Alberta Culture, Multiculturalism and Status of Women that funded a lot of the production of the videos. But it was really a team effort, and we wanted these to be something that we can all be really proud of as educators and people who work in the field, and that can really be used to sort of showcase what early childhood educators do and what's really involved in this field. So yeah, we're super excited, like Lisa said, to give you the sneak preview. You get like the midnight showing of these before they come out.
So there are 3 different videos that are done. One is done specifically with educators in mind. The other one is done specifically with parents and guardians in mind, and the other one is done specifically for the general public. So just as we talked about the different portals that AECEA will have on their new website, so these videos are a little bit different and tweaked to the different populations that we really want to showcase the important work that educators do.
So I think we're going to watch all 3 in succession. None of them are very long. So take it away.
Okay, so first one is one with educators in mind. And I just ask that if you can't hear, just type it in the question box and I'll try to fix it on my end and we'll go from there.
Laura, there's nothing yet.
Yeah, no sound.
For audio.
Okay. Give me a minute.
No problem. There's always technical difficulties.
Always.
We've been doing this for a couple months now, and I thought I would have it all figured out, but I still don't.
Me neither.
The other day I was having a meeting and I ended up in a room by myself. I'm not sure how that happened, but
yeah, it's never simple.
Okay, we will try this again.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura.
oh, still
no
nothing.
sound, though.
Your career is much more than keeping children safe. It's about creating environments that support.
Oh, lots of echo, Laura. You just have to turn off your mic. Or maybe it's my mic.
Yeah, can I just have the other presenters?
Your career is much.
Okay. I am going to leave as this person and join as another.
Okay.
Because it's not going to let me run both at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to think of the best way to do this.
Thank you everybody for your
Yes,
patience.
thank you.
We work out the technology pieces. I guess maybe while we're waiting, Leah, I've been wondering, as we move, I can't believe it's already November, almost December, as we move into the new year, what are some Connect sessions or themes for Connect sessions, things that you guys would like to see on the Connect sessions? And I don't know if you folks want to just type it into the chat on something that you would find beneficial for us to connect about. And then maybe Leah and I and the rest of our Connect team can make it happen. Would love to hear the feedback.
Yeah, we'd love to hear that. I mean, we've kind of had topics come up as all the COVID madness and legislation and all of that has come, but it would be great to see what are people feeling like they want to connect about as we kind of keep moving through, you know, this ins and outs of the still in COVID times and all of that. So what are some topics or questions or information that people are looking for? Walking through the regulations when they come out. Hope that's a great idea. And that, I think, was something that's been on our mind as well, is just really thinking about how do we share that information and give people a chance to really think about what does that mean. And Chantel is asking about why Alberta Health doesn't recognize early childhood educators as frontline when teachers and school staff are. And that's a really good question and something, you know, that we have been sort of asking about and advocating for, but I mean, we don't have an answer. But it is something that we can address in that, you know, looking at that frontline piece. Power centers managing staff teams with low numbers of children. And that's something that's been on lots of people's minds, Deanna, around, because numbers are low, but requirements are high. And so how do we balance and how do we create this sustainability? And that's a big piece on the sort of national advocacy level, although I know that doesn't necessarily help you right in this moment. but that's why those questions about a universal system for, you know, early learning and childcare are coming up, because it's not sustainable in the long run for individual programs to keep managing these types of things. But yeah, for people to share their ideas about how it's working and what's happening. So thank you. Cross Canada check-in, yeah. Thanks, Cody. We might be able to work with CCCF on that. Mental health. You know what, Joni, we were just talking about that before the session started. Mental health and educators are low on the spectrum, and, you know, just we were talking about the pressures that everyone is feeling and that sense of not being fully valued or recognized for the work that's happening, and that's so important. So thank you for all of these. We really appreciate your thoughts and feedback around all of these things, and it's definitely things that we want to to make sure we give you a place to connect about. So we'll certainly take these things into our, put them in our pocket for as we go forward.
And I'm not sure, maybe Laura, it looks like you might be ready, but if throughout the conversation tonight, please feel free to put your ideas in those in the question box. And like Leah said, we'll definitely be taking these ideas to our next planning meeting because we want these sessions to be meaningful. But anyways, Laura, take it away.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience, everyone.
Your career is much more than keeping.
Okay, keep talking while I try to work through this.
Leah, I'm seeing another one here, just people coming in and saying simply the life of a childhood professional in the life of COVID and how, what's working and how are they succeeding? I think everyone just wants to hear what everybody else is doing because it's tough.
That's a great one, yeah. And questions about PD funding, that's always, I mean, that, who knows, that might be something that comes out of the act and the regulations. And so that's kind of one that we're all sort of holding our breath on, so to speak, to see where that goes sort of in this new landscape for sure.
And I think the beauty of that Leah, and that PD funding comment came from someone that's a day home provider. And I think the beauty of being able to come together in a platform like this or under, an umbrella organization such as AECEA is really that we are stronger together. And it doesn't matter if we're working in a day home or a preschool or an out of school care program or an early learning and childcare center, we are all educators. And the more that we are able to come together and band together and work together for our common good and our profession, I think that that's huge, and that's that strength in numbers piece. Let's see what else we see. Someone else is talking about what will happen in terms of supporting quality care now that accreditation system has been discontinued. So that's kind of like the going back to the regulations piece.
And that was something that Rebecca Schultz, the minister, talked about early on. And when she shut down accreditation was that because the licensing review was happening this year, that those, quality standards that were represented in accreditation were going to be embedded into the legislation. And so there's a lot of questions about how that's going to happen. There's been a lot of research that says it's actually really difficult to embed quality into legislation. And so really looking at, at what that's going to be. And those are questions that we want to kind of keep asking and kind of looking at. So.
And I really want to celebrate here what Jennifer said. Jennifer shared that that she often calls other centers just to check in. And I think that's such a great thing to do. Check in on your neighbor, check in on other programs in the community. You might be able to share ideas of what's working for them, what struggles they have, what successes they have, but then also just how are you doing?
And asking those questions, how are you working with this, and what are you doing about this side of things, and just knowing that you are all in this together and we are all kind of figuring out what this means together. And it really is, I mean, I think, maybe I'm alone in this, but thinking that we would be able to go back to the way things were previously by now, but that's not happened and not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. And so how do we get used to this being typical and still find a way through to to the quality piece that we really want to have for children and families.
This other piece that Wendy shared here, Leah, talking about a burnout and just motivating motivating staff. And we were talking about that before, and how, and I think Cody spoke about it at the last session as well, that the COVID fatigue and how it is something that is it is real, and it's difficult. And what are some ways that we can help each other through it?
Yeah. And just recognizing that it is stressful to manage that continual uncertainty and change. You know, even hearing from the province today that there's certain, you know, tighter restrictions in certain places, and what does that mean for me, and what does that mean for my family, and what is, you know, sort of going out the circles that we're involved in, and just recognizing that that's what's happening. Like, you know, the guidelines for early learning and childcare have changed a number of times, you know, since the summer, constantly keeping up with what's normal. The checklist changed last week, Monday, maybe it was the week before. See, I don't even know anymore. You know, like, so things are changing, and that it's hard, you know, that's stressful and difficult. So, I mean, these things are all things that sort of take a toll on our mental and emotional wellness and ability to kind of keep going in this field. And I think we all know that it's not an easy field to stay in due to a lot of factors, but this is not making it easier, and there's not a lot of places where that pressure is being relieved.
100%. Leah, I just want to celebrate the fact that, you know, the educators that have chosen to come together tonight to watch this Connect session, and everybody that is watching it when it's recorded. I think it's absolutely amazing that there is that support, and the feedback that we're getting in the question box right now. It's amazing. So thank you all. Leah, I'm wondering if you have the PowerPoint up. Maybe we can hop to the National Child's Day piece and then pop back onto the videos.
We sure could if I put that in PowerPoint, which I didn't, because I forgot. So, you know.
Well, look, even us, I did not look at the PowerPoint before because I have been so tired and I could not open my email.
So no, I totally missed that part. So we can just talk about it.
For sure. And I think it's a great example of, you know, just how that kind of tired and stressful time is for everybody. So Friday is National Child's Day. Yay! And so what National Child's Day is celebrating the rights of the child and recognizing that all children have rights. And the neat thing is, especially I think the conversation, it fits perfectly in with the licensing regulations and the practices that we're doing. Where do child's rights fit into that? Are we doing every decision that we're making, is it being made through the lens of a child's right perspective?
And there's lots of stuff going on. You can probably look up a ton of things. The Canadian Child Care Federation has chosen a couple of rights to focus on. In Calgary, the community engagement sessions that are run through the Children's Hospital, they're doing sort of 2 half-day conferences on the 19th and the 20th. For National Child Day, the ARC has its conference, which they typically have right around National Child Day, so they're having their online conference. So it's just an opportunity for us to really think about what are the rights of a child and how does that play into the work that we're doing. Do we look at things through a lens of children's rights, or do we look at them through a different lens? And where does that child rights lens really fit in?
100%. You know, are we doing things out of convenience, or is it what is right for the child? I'm not sure. Do you know if Laura's still on?
She just sent me a link, so I'm gonna try and share the videos from my end.
Okay,
so
sounds
give
good.
Me a moment.
So Hope put in a nice little comment here in the chat, and she says that National Child's Day celebrating children and the dedicated professionals who care for and support them. I love that. And Dawn, who's also a fellow board member, says, oh, my chat went away here, says the theme this year is children are the future. Today's kids are tomorrow's world. Tomorrow's world leaders, healthcare providers, inventors, and more. And I think that really is so important and unbelievably fitting for everything that the province is going through right now. Is what infrastructure, what programs, what legislation, what benefits are we creating so that children benefit not only in the future but who they are right now.
All right, so I hope that I'm sharing my screen.
I see it.
Okay, I'm going to start the video and let's all cross our fingers.
Okay. I don't have any volume on my end, Leah. Leah, are you getting volume on your end?
The volume's playing on my computer. My wondering is, let me figure out audio. Because on most of the platforms that I teach on, I have to choose to share my computer volume so that it doesn't play through my microphone, but it doesn't actually give me the option for that here. And I wonder if that is our issue.
Leah and Lisa, I wonder if we could just share it through the chat box and participants could just log into it on their own.
We may have to do that because I don't know how to switch the audio to the computer. I don't actually know also if we can share in the chat box on this. That's the other option.
Well, if it's not working, I'm wondering if maybe we open up the floor and have some conversations about how everybody is doing with COVID and the reduced numbers and all the cleaning and maybe some celebrations that people are finding. And then what we can do is if we do find a way that we can share these videos, then potentially we can get them out to participants. I'm not sure how do we feel about that.
That sounds good. Do people want to chat?
Well, I guess we can open up the floor to more of a how are you doing? Let's just check in. It seems like it's something that is on everybody's mind. So our apologies that the video audio is not able to work, but let's connect with each other. We have hands raised. Laura, are you there on the other end to do hands?
Yep. Are we sharing the links? No?
This is Janet. I just put one into the chat box. So if people can see it, let's see if they can actually access it through the chat box to everybody. Let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can just sort of watch them on our own one at a time.
Yep, lots of yes, it works. I can watch it.
That'd be great. That's awesome.
It was a great idea. Thanks, Janet.
I'm going to put the other ones in so you can just, everybody can watch them in sequence.
There's 3 videos in total, one for educators, one for parents, and one for the general public. And one thing to note with the parent video, the final screen where it tries to send people to the Getting It Right document, we're in the process of getting that changed to be going to quality, so just disregard that one screen.
Looks like some people are still watching, so maybe we'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll see how it went.
Just a sec. So these will go fully live on the 20th. I'll leave these 3 open to watch it so that people in attendance can watch it tonight. And then I'll close so that any edits that we make and everything will be launched on the 20th. So you'll have until I get into the office at 9 a.m. tomorrow to watch the videos if you've missed it.
Thanks, Laura.
No problem. And I do want to thank, we had, I believe it was 2 organizations allowed us to film on their sites, and they were fantastic. So we want to give them a big thank you for that as well. One of them was the Terra Child and Family Resource Center, I believe is the full name. And the other one, I believe, was Glenora Child Care Society. And just big thank you to them for letting us come into their, oh, sorry, I was wrong, Jasper Place, not Glenora. Allowing us to come in and film on site and being such great individuals. Yeah. Do we want to give it another minute or so?
Share the slideshow again, Laura, and we can put up the little poll question.
That I can do.
We know that works.
As you're watching the videos, I think it would be great if you were thinking of how you could use the videos and where you could use the videos and potentially who you want to share those videos with. I know I'm really excited to share them on Facebook, and I'm excited to show some of my family and friends them, and just showcasing what educators, what being an educator is all about.
So I guess our first sort of question about, as you watch the videos, is what really kind of hit home for you and what stood out for you and what is it about them that kind of get you excited? So if you want to put it in the questions, you can do that. If you want to put your hand up, we can do it that way too. So what are some things that really stood out for people? It's not just a job, definitely. Thanks for that, Joni. They're professionally done. And that was something we worked really hard on, is making sure that the committee was really dedicated to making sure that it really showed the professionalism of the job, that it's not just babysitting as many people think it is, that it requires, effort and organization and education and all of those things that we know.
And I do have a couple of hands up.
Uh-huh.
So just as a reminder, what will happen is I'll unmute you. I will say your name to the best of my abilities, and I apologize in advance if it is mispronounced. When that happens, you may need to unmute yourself in order to speak as well. So, Nada Schmidt, you've been unmuted if you have a question or comment to make. You just may need to unmute yourself as well. Guess not. Okay. Tewo Adeyemi, you've been unmuted if you have a question or comment to make. Okay, I guess not. Sharing on Facebook, promoting quality childcare. That will be very nice of you guys to do.
And even if you want to go to the next slide, Laura, that kind of talks a little bit about that sort of sharing the message and, you know, who can we imagine sharing it with, and what ideas do you guys have for sharing those videos? So for yourselves, and then also, you know, we can do a bit of brainstorming about where else could or should these go? You know, what connections do we have in the community, or can we make to really get this message out there to people? And I think really to look at that, changing the conversation about early learning and childcare. And that's sort of started with COVID, as we can kind of see from some of the things that have come out as being considered essential to getting people back to work and all that, but really kind of filling out that message. It's not just about the economics of parents going to work. It's so much broader and deeper than that.
And Leah, I hear over here, Jennifer writes, go to media and local news stations. I think that'd be great to see it on
awesome.
The news.
Just as like a little commercial on TV.
We do have 30-second clips specifically
Go
for
big.
that.
Ooh.
Yeah, go big.
Maybe we can
CBC
be like the
Global.
commercials that people get on YouTube when you're watching a video that's longer than 3 minutes.
Guys may see that.
Woo.
Radio
Another one for
stations.
radio stations.
Yeah. With families, parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody said all the work that goes on behind the scenes that parents might not always see. Very true.
Yeah.
Because especially during COVID, parents aren't able to come and see what's going on and everything. So this is a really good way to show what quality early learning and childcare is.
Mm-hmm.
I love some of these other ideas. Hi Mama in our centers, on mom pages, MLAs, health clinics. These are amazing.
Actually, the health clinics one is a really good idea because most doctors' offices have those like TVs on loop. So maybe we can get on there. And Laura, are these going to be available from the website for people to share? So if people want to take these ideas and run with them, or can individuals just sort of share them as they would like to, or how does that work?
They will once it's fully launched on the 20th.
Okay.
So we just ask that the links that we gave you be kept for personal use so that we can make on the 20th a big splash. And like I said, I'll close down the links that were given to everybody on when I get into the office tomorrow morning. So you have until then. We just kind of ask that you don't share them widely, as there's edits and especially the parent one that needs to be done. And then the AECEA.ca/quality section, that will also go live on the 20th. Right now, if you try to access it, you'll get an access denied. So everything will be launching on the 20th. And then from there, we'll try to mobilize some of these ideas with your guys' help.
And I think
awesome. Well, I'm so
excited
to see what people come up with.
And it's such an important piece, I think, that educators take that on as well and know how powerful your voice is and your connections are. And, you know, maybe you don't have access, you know, to put on CBC, but you're able to share it with your families or in a Facebook page or with a mom group that you're part of. And I think everybody that shares it just a little bit is one other person that's going to be able to see these videos, and one other person that's going to maybe understand a little bit more about how important early learning in childcare is and how important the role of an educator is. And who knows, we might have an advocate in that person, and that's one more advocate for us. So the job that everybody has when these videos come out is really huge. Someone says they're going to be sharing with regional learning communities and ELCC centers across the region, another email newsletters, Facebook page. Someone asked about community newsletters. I'm excited. I look forward to seeing them.
So lots of great ideas about sharing. And I think that was that's a big piece of why this is out here, and is so that we can really think about how to change that conversation and have this tool to use to kind of draw people in. They're short videos, they're easy to watch, and they just can get people thinking a little bit differently about what early learning and childcare is, and what we as educators do and know, and you know, the type of value we bring. So thank you for all of your thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, so on the 20th as well, we will be sending out the links to everybody on our mailing lists that have opted in to receive communications from us. So assuming that you have done that, then you'll be able to receive an email on the 20th with all the links, information, and further information on that quality page on the AECEA website.
And Laura, will it be on Facebook as well?
It'll go everywhere.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you for putting up with our technical difficulties this evening, everyone. I hope that everyone was able to see at least one of the videos, and like Laura said, the links will be live until tomorrow morning, and then you'll have to wait till the 20th when they're revealed to the world. I think that's all we have for tonight. So just stay connected to each other. Thank you so much for your feedback and input around the videos, around how these Connect sessions can really be valuable for you, and topics that we can kind of look at for the future. That's, like Lisa said, certainly something that we're bringing to our planning meetings. So we appreciate your feedback. Oh yeah, we have door prizes. I forgot. Yay! Let's door prize.
Door prize.
And we do have
part.
a date.
Oh, we are doing the draw right now.
In the background again, Jennifer has put in a link to an article that was calgracechild.com, parenting 0 to 5. My life as a child care professional. So
Ooh.
people might want to save that so they could go in and look at it after this session closes tonight.
Janet, can you just copy and paste that in? Because I don't see it in the chat list here.
It was in the questions, but I'll put it in the.
Oh, okay, just so that everybody else can grab that link, if you don't mind. And for the door prizes, at registration time, you were asked whether or not you were okay with us sharing information with the Medicine Hat and District Child Care Association so that they can reach out to you guys to get mailing addresses for the ones who end up getting picked. So it will be one person in the southeast side, I believe, the Medicine Hat area, and that was for the Medicine Hat and District Child Care Association to try to boost people coming to these sessions from that region. And then the other 2 book sets will be going to people across the rest of Alberta.
So will people find out in their email?
I believe Jennifer Usher, she is also AECEA's board chair, but she works for the Medicine Hat and District Child Care Association. She will be in contact with those who win and go from there. It'll likely be through email to start off with, and then and then if she can't get a hold of you, give you a call as well.
So stay tuned to see if you're a winner.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Nope.
Interrupting?
Nope.
Okay. So we have a date for, which is shocking, I know, for our upcoming Connect session, but we're going to have a guest speaker again. So we know that this time of year coming up in the past has been very busy and full of events. Who knows what it will be this year? I'm sure it will still be busy, but events, who knows? So we did want to make sure we got this in before the end of this year. So on Thursday, December 10th is when our next AECEA Connect session will be. You will see the poster and everything coming through your email. So don't fret if you don't remember the date from today. And we're going to be welcoming Jane Beach. She's been working quite closely with the Edmonton Council for Early Learning and Care, creating a document around recommendations for the regulation, as well as doing some other work. So she's going to share some of that with us on December 10th. So hopefully you can join us for that session. Like I said, more details will be coming out, but we did want to give people the date early because it is, in theory, a busy time of year for everyone.
And thank you once again, everybody, for spending your evening with us this evening, for putting up with our, like Leah said earlier, the technology pieces, and yeah, the other ways to stay connected.
And just as a follow-up note, if anybody wants to make sure that they're on our mailing list, you can either become a member, which is always appreciated, or you can go to the AECEA website, aecea.ca, and on pretty much any page other than the homepage, you can sign up for mailing through there.
These other two links, the CCCF and Childcare Now, are just good ways to stay connected with the types of advocacy that are happening sort of on a national level, in particular these conversations around a Canadian system for universal early learning and childcare. So those are just good ones to keep up to date with what's going on across the country, across different provinces, how they're managing with some of the COVID things, and then around that universal childcare piece. The emails for the Minister of Children's Services are here, as well as Alberta Health Service mental health resources around COVID-19, because like many people have stated, there's a lot of pressures and uncertainties that certainly take their toll over time. So stay well, everybody, and not just from COVID, from everything else too.
Yes, and thank you so much for the work that you do. We look forward to seeing you on our Facebook page on National Child's Day, and the way that you share those videos around.
All right, thank you everyone, and good night.
Thank you.